Hello and welcome to today's video where I will be talking about some extreme localization, customization and setup for the Arch Linux system. So a lot of things in the computing world are default to the American way of doing things, which I mean is the English language and the American keyboard, but a lot of people, especially in Europe, use some different keyboard layout which corresponds to their language, and so I, for example, use the Hungarian keyboard layout when I type, even in English. But sometimes you are in a situation when you want to use that input method and you also want to use a non-Latin script language, like, for example, Korean, Japanese, Chinese, etc. And so today I will go through how to set these things up to work in unison, both for the European Latin script keyboard layout and to localize your system to some non-Latin script language, which will be Korean for my case. So what you have to do, you need the fonts, of course, which will contain the required characters. And if you go to the fonts page in the great Arch Wiki, in the non-Latin section, you will find a lot of different sets. So you can go to Chinese, for example, and read about all these fonts that are available in Chinese. You can go to Japanese, and we will go, of course, to Korean. After we set up the fonts, I won't localize my system to Korean because I want my system to be in English. It's because I speak English well enough so I understand my system in English, and of course if you look up something, some guide, everything will use default English, so that's, I think, better. But the input method should be changed, and there are a lot of different ways to handle the input method. I will use the uim, which is the universal input method, for this demonstration and for my system. So I made this little note for myself to set up things, and let's move to the virtual machine. So we are on Arch Linux in the Budgie desktop, which is GTK based, and so if I go to my GNOME settings, I will have the regional language here, and of course you can see that here I can change, so I localized my system to have the Korean locale in the sense that the Korean formats and stuff. So I can go and add the Korean keyboard and remove the Hungarian, and I can go to my text editor and start typing. I should use a bigger font here. It's for you to see, but you can see that it's basically typing in the Latin script. Nothing has changed, but except for my keyboard layout, it's all the same as the American, because of course in all these non-Latin, or most of these non-Latin cases, basically the computers still work in the Latin script. So let me choose the Hungarian back, and oh, come on, what have I done? So they will have the Latin input method, which is basically the American keyboard layout. Okay, and now I'm back to my Hungarian. Okay, so of course they will also want their native Korean script. Oh, let's just keep it open for the time being, and well, for that we of course need to install some packages. So we will pacman-s uim, which is the universal input method. I will go for the adobe-source-han-sans-kr-fonts package for my fonts, and I will go for ttf-baekmuk for this is another font This is the TrueType font for Korean. So let's install these packages. Oh, this is not font, this is fonts. Yeah. Okay, so the system will download the packages, of course, from the mirrors, and let's proceed with the installation. So now we will have the uim to work with our input method, and we have to set up the uim so it runs when we start the graphical environment. So for this we will make the xprofile file. The xprofile file contains the commands that will be executed at the beginning of the X session, so the X session being the graphical session. So xorg is the graphical server that runs on our machine to provide for our graphical environment. And so before the window manager is started, this file will be executed. So this is the commands that we will have to add in to start the input method, and we will also add one line to provide a toolbar that will help us setting things up. So we have everything installed that we need. So you can do this whatever way you want. If I will just go to my file manager, I will turn on the hidden files to show, and I will create a new document. So this is, I have installed this text editor and it supports creating the new documents from the right click menu, and I will make the xprofile file dot xprofile, so it's going to be hidden file. It starts with a dot, and the x is lowercase. There are some other files here with x in the beginning, and those are capital letters, but you have to go with the lowercase. So we go to the xprofile file, and we will type in export gtk underscore im underscore module equals im, and export qt im module equals uim. Sorry, it should be uim. Don't listen to me. Okay, so export gtk im module. This is input method module, will be the uim package, and we will run uim-xim, and we give this little end symbol in the end of the command. So when the command is run, it will run in another subshell and won't wait until it runs its course to go to the next command, which will be, come on, export xmodes equals at, oh no, it's not xmode, it's xmodifiers, export xmodifiers equals at im equals uim, and actually we don't need these, because yeah, we don't need those. I am mistaken. And then uim toolbar. So we are running a GTK3 based system, so we will run this toolbar, and we will run the systray version of the toolbar. You can just use the uim toolbar -gtk3, etc. So let's save this xprofile file. Let's close this without saving. So xprofile now is, it contains everything that should be there according to the Arch Wiki. So we can restart the X session to run this script in the beginning of our X session. And so what else we need here is, so if I go to my budget settings, which is here, so this is our top panel. It should have the system tray because that systray application will be appearing there. So let me log out from this and log back in, and you will be able to observe that here a new icon have appeared. So this is going to be for our input method, which appeared in the menu too, of course. So let me go to my text editor, and I am typing in Hungarian now, you can see. And here, what is this? Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. Let's go to preferences. Of course, we want to set this thing up. So if you are going to the global settings, there is like a ton of enabled input methods, and no one on the face of the planet would use all of this. So if you just click here, it will show you all these myriad of input methods, and well, it's very good that it has all these, but as a regular user you are probably only going to use a few of them. I want to specify a default input method, and for me that will, let me first edit this one. So here for Korean I will use the Byeoru input method, and so of course if you are not using Korean but some other language, then of course you will have to find your corresponding input method from this. So there are a lot to choose from, like pinyin, new pinyin, traditional pinyin, Unicode pinyin, international phonetic alphabet, Baidu Online IME. A lot of different things are around here. What is not here though, there is no Hungarian. So this input method does not contain the Hungarian input, so I have to go and trick the system. So I disable all these things. It's going to take some time for it, some reason, to move the input methods there and disable these. So I only leave Byeoru enabled, and I will check the direct method. So the direct method will mean that it just takes whatever my default input method here in the settings, in the GNOME settings is. So my input source is Hungarian keyboard, so you will just use it directly, that input, and I can of course apply this, and you can see direct and Byeoru. And of course Byeoru has the A symbol for Youngmun, which is basically the English. So this, if you are using just Korean and English, that's the only thing you will need. And of course there is the Hangul kulja, which is going to be the Korean characters, and it should be, yeah, switched. You can see it works very nicely. So but maybe you will write some documents where you have to switch between the input methods. So here you can edit Control Shift, Shift Control. That's either good or not, it depends on. So you can you can have some key bindings, which is like Control Shift something, and that will confuse this system. So maybe it's better to just set up like Control Shift Space, for example. And now if I am here, I press Control Shift Space. Did I apply? Not. I have to apply the changes. I'm here and I am typing in Korean, and then I am pressing Ctrl-Shift-Space, and now I am typing in Hungarian. But for some reason that last character, what's going on? Okay, I'll have to go back to the Korean keyboard to cancel this, I guess. Yeah, now switch to Hungarian. And the only problem is I switch back to Korean and it defaults to the English, so Latin input. I have to change this one. To enable the input, I will just use the, let's say, control space. Meta space can work for you, it does not work for me in this virtual machine. Alternative input method. Byeoru candidate. Okay, so these are some visual settings. Here the toolbar settings, you can use the preference tool is either there, you can remove, now there is no preferences there. If you apply this, so if you let the preferences tool be there, then it's there. There is like handwriting input, but these things usually I don't use them. You can change how much, so if it's this input method applies to the whole system or just the individual windows. So now I set up input method toggle. So what does that do? Control space, nothing. Oh. Okay. Maybe it's not, yeah, this is not what I want to do. Yeah, I'm sorry. So I will have to go to the Byeoru settings for the other thing I want to do. It's not there. Where are you, Byeoru? Okay, so Hangul keyboard layout in my case is the Hangul Kette or 2. Wow, I just said it in Hungarian. Hangul 2 bell Windows. That's what I use. Escape turns off Hangul mode. These things are probably should be not changed. These are no problem. You can use other keyboard layouts or for the Hangul typing if you want. So all these other input methods will have this kind of additional settings. So what I want is Byeoru on Shift+space. What does Shift+space do? Yeah, so if you look here, you look there, Shift+space, I can change my Hangul, like the Korean Hangul, and to change with Shift+space to the English. No, it changes. Wait, what? Now it's in Hungarian. Well, it's very strange. So if I just... Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. So this is what I set up here. So here... No, isn't it alternative? So I have Byeoru, I have direct. Direct should be my default, of course. And if I go to the settings here, key bindings. Well, I don't know why it's doing that, to be honest. This is a strange UIM, it's kind of a strange thing. And the one other thing is you can use the Hanja, which is basically the Chinese character. So in Korean sometimes you use the Chinese characters, so that will be F9. So if you are a Korean speaking person, then of course this will be a little strange for you, because in the regular Korean keyboard, on the right Control and the right Alt serve as switching for between the American and the Korean input, and the right Control is for the Chinese character, the Hanja input. So yeah, so now I change back to the Hungarian, to the direct method. Here that's the direct method symbol, and if I press Ctrl Shift Space, for some reason I still am in, so it's not defaulting to the Korean letters for some reason. So this is anyways, these are just key bindings, and I guess that's it. You can play with the settings a little more, like yeah, but basically that's it. So we have the characters installed, so the fonts installed, which is nice. We have the input method switcher installed, and I think what else do you want? You can use your Arch Linux with both your weird European input methods, and you can also use it with your weird weird Asian input methods. So yeah, I guess the customization, what key presses you want to use, that's going to be up to you. If you are only using for example in this case, only using the Korean keyboard layout with the English, and you want to go for the traditional right Control, right Alt for these functions, then you have to do some additional localization. Here you can find it on the Arch Linux wiki, of course, like everything else you need. And well, I guess that's it for today. See you next time. Bye bye.